My, oh my, do I have something to share with you folks today. Deagan Carillon. And now Deagan's Carillons were usually the large tower format where it was actual bells and the bells were made of large pipes. They had a unique sound, that's for sure. And they were absolutely gigantic. Huge, tons and tons and tons. They were essentially real bells as far as Deegan was concerned. However, they also made a Carillon system that was similar to the ones that Maas-Rowe makes, Schulmerich makes, and are made, I guess. And that is the Deagan Celesta-Chime. I have just acquired this exquisite unit. It's a struck rod, bronze rod Carillon, electronic Carillon, where it strikes the rods with little solenoids. That was the word I was looking for. It's got dampers on each of them, and then a striker below that. You can kind of see it down there. And this is the rack that it's housed in. It's a huge, like 5-6 foot rack. And that's the Carillon. I found very little information about these, so this is probably a pretty rare gadget, which on one hand is excellent because rare is always cool and unique. And on the other hand, there is very little information out there to repair and service it, and certainly very little in the way of parts. So hopefully, I acquired this not working from a local church. I had a coworker of mine had brought me over because he knew about my weird fascination with these gadgets, and he was like, hey, they want to put in a new Carillon, a digital one. They've got an old one and it doesn't work, so maybe you can fix it, or maybe you can set them up with a new one, computer-based one like I built previously. And so I came over and I was like, damn, this is super cool. And I was like, you know, maybe we can get you set up with a new one, or maybe you can fix this one. I don't know. But yeah, that's where this came from. Now, naturally, after I just bought that Tyme Stryke, if you've seen my other video. But this is the main rack here. There's candle wax all over this thing. I'll have to try to scrape that off. But let me turn this around, and you can see there's 2 jewel pilot lights on the front here. One of them smashed out, unfortunately. But if we turn it around so we can see inside the back, I've got these bottom, the chimes themselves are there's a blank panel that goes on both of those. But this is the back, and it's got 2 tube amplifiers and a tube mixer preamp deal going on in here. So here is your, let's see. There we go. Here is the input selector, your loudness. Man, that's a feature I haven't heard of in a while. Oh, it's even got a little indicator light up right there. Your bass, that's got a marking up pretty high, I'm surprised. And then your treble. So your lows and your highs, and that's all tube based, and so are the 2 Rowland amps. Now, the Tyme Stryke I just bought also has plate amps made by Rowland, so they must have been the go-to company for the monoblock plate amps. So this is super cool. I don't know what that is. That's some sort of, it says Rowland on it. It's probably like a input transformer or something. Or got some fuses down there. This looks like a receiver for a Jones plug, and Jones plugs have a very sore subject right now. It's a very sore subject with me. I'll explain why in a little bit. These are, it says 160 watts. I don't know if that's the power draw or if that's the output power. Are a 4260A. Not sure what that, I wonder if I can find some info online. I don't see any output power. It looks like it's all socketed, so I'll have to look into that further. All the output, there's no like terminal strips for the output and the input, and then the power. That's probably what those three, A, B, and C are. So that's that. No name on the mixer that I can see. It's out of focus. So, but it does say in the door, the Deagan New World Carillon. So that's pretty cool. I've got a damper that fell off here in transport. I'll have to figure out where that goes. Down here is a big transformer. I have no idea what the hell these are. They're like big fins. They're hooked up somehow. I have absolutely no idea. You can barely see them anyway. There's another Jones plug socket, relay on the wall. Down here are two large banks of Jones plug connectors. They're wired in parallel, and I will show you why in a moment. This guy right here, okay, so that's my output, my speaker output. This is what went out to the tower, and as you can see, it is beyond brittle. The wire was just absolutely destroyed, dry rotted, and there was a lot of spots where it probably was shorted together. And hopefully they didn't run it like that. Hopefully that the output stage from the amplifier is not shot because the wire dry rotted and shorted. And the speaker wire is not the only thing that dry rotted and shorted. This is the power cable for the unit, and that is as stiff as a branch. It's supposed to be flexible SO cord. You can see that. Nice. So, and then this is another Jones plug here. This is power that went up to, I believe this is the power that supplied the organ in the choir loft. And the organ, oh, there's the guy that's missing. That one's missing the pad. I'll have to see if I can glue that on. The organ in the choir loft is what they would use to play this, so that you could play it live. And so like I was saying about Jones plugs being a sore subject right now, see that? I had to cut that because it went under the wall and then was hardwired to the organ. However, this is the power cable. I cut this one off too because the plug went through the wall. They just wired an end. It was just a replacement end. I'm sure that's how it was from the factory. But that's just soldered on in there. I can that's going to be the first thing I do when I work on this, is I'm going to put a new power cord on here. That I don't need anymore. But the Jones plugs here, one of them, one row went to the organ, and one row went to these guys here. Well, I didn't know that they were Jones plugs on the other end because my stupid ass cut them. And I was like, well, I'll just have to, hook them up, reconnect the cables, and that'll be it. But then, imagine my surprise when I get the rack pulled out, and I could have just disconnected this and pulled it through this bottom panel here, which separates, and you can see where the grommets go. And then you just take all these screws off for this top half, and then this comes off, and you can pull your cords through. Bummer. I thought someone hand-wired this thing on site. I was wrong. So that's that. These are the 4 drivers for the horns that were on the roof of the church. They are Jensen Hypex drivers, compression drivers. They're 30 watts, 16 ohms, and I do not know if they work yet. They were on big 20-inch horns, probably by the same manufacturer, but I did not have a Sawzall, so they were mounted to a sheet of plywood, and then the plywood platform sat on the roof of the tower, and it held the horns, and everything was rusted to hell. And so I'm gonna have to go back or see if they can cut that up and separate them for me. I mean, I don't need them, but it'd be cool to have the original speakers that went with it. Underneath that platform were these. They were mounted to the bottom of the thing. You can see all the roofing tar stuck to it. I believe that these are potted 70-volt transformers. I assume that those amps are 70 volts, as most Carillons were. And so I think that these are potted transformers. I have no idea. I've never seen something like this. But I'm assuming that this whole contraption is just wildly ancient. I have no idea. I think they made this in like the 30s. They started making this model, from what little information I can find. It's way out of focus. So I don't know how old this thing is. I believe that the church bought this used, and then they reinstalled it in their facility. So I believe that these are 70-volt transformers. I got 2 of those to step down the line voltage coming out of the amps. This little oil can, box of tubes, and I was throwing all those. See, there's the plugs from the things. I'll put a new cord on them. This is a box from one of those drivers, which is awesome to have. It's kind of cool. Lifetime guarantee. I wonder if I can cash in on that if these don't work. Jones plugs. I also got this sweet box of steel wool rolls. The copyright date on this is 1950, right there. So that's cool. I don't really know what they were using it for, but I assume it has something to do with... Let me put this back. This guy. Because you can play it live, or, as many Deegan Carillons had, you could play it with a roll. I've got a roll player for it. Woo! Look at that. And not only do I have a roll player for it, I have an assload of rolls for it. Look at all of that music. Holy crap. There's a roll in here. I don't know which one it is. I've got 2 empty boxes, I believe. So I'm missing one, and the other one is here. And the only way to get these off, from the few videos that I've seen, is to have it powered on and rewind it right here, manual rewind. So we'll see how that works. I've got some instructions right here to change the rolls. There's a little light in the top. That wire is also dry rotted, so I'm going to have to replace that. I also don't have a bulb for it. But, yeah, there's the other end of that cable. So I had a Jones plug that I cut. That's a real bummer. Hopefully, I'm assuming, I can't imagine why they wouldn't be, that all the wires are color-coded, that each one is a unique conductor color. So it's just going to be a game of matchup. So this guy's going to need a new 120-volt cord, but you can see how it reads the punches. It's got these tiny little wires, and when there's a hole in the paper, they make contact with that bar, which I'm assuming is grounded or something. And then when the wire falls through the hole and touches the roller underneath, that makes contact and activates the striker in there. So, yeah, and there's a clock down here, a timer, and this sets it off. It said last time this ran, it was set for 5 and 12 noon, 5 p.m. Or is that 5 a.m.? That's 5 a.m. Someone must have played with this. Clock set for 12 noon and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Do not touch our Ruck. That might be Reverend Ruck or something. Or Randy Ruck, who knows. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how to adjust that. It's not like an intermatic lighting timer. I'm not going to force it. The church said that they found some paperwork for it, and all kinds of paperwork for it. But they didn't have it with them. It's at some secretary's house or something. She was going through stuff and found it. So hopefully I can get that, and hopefully it's got some more information on this bad boy. But I'm super, super stoked to get this thing going, hopefully. And we will see what happens, but I will certainly keep you guys updated, and I figured that everyone would... all those Carillon fans that seem to be on YouTube will get a kick out of this, and hopefully I can get it playing, get the candle wax off of it, and, you know, hear some beautiful chime music, because I've got plenty. And I mean, this is all mostly hymns. This one's patriotic. Oh, can't see that. General hymns, patriotic, Christmas, general hymns, Christmas, Christmas, patriotic, hymns. The 10 favorite Protestant hymns, Easter, wedding, Vesper hymns, Christmas, general hymns, Sunday morning, more hymns, Thanksgiving, general hymns galore, Easter, Vesper hymns, Sunday Eve, Lent, what else? Christmas. Oh, I got a bunch of Christmas ones. That's sweet. That's general hymns, but I've got a ton of them. So, yeah, that is going to be awesome to go through. Ideally, what I want to do is be able to record these rolls. I've seen people do it with player pianos, where they record the punches with MIDI interface, which is something that I don't know very much about, but I'm going to learn, and hopefully I can record those punches so that I can play this back off of a computer, because I assume all it is you just have to activate the striker, the solenoids, so you can do that with what I've recently learned is a MIDI interface. And then, so I can record all that, play it back through here, because, you know, I just am concerned about the longevity of these paper rolls. Just in case one of them decides to self-destruct while it's playing, you know. So I'll capture all that music, and then what I'd also like to do is record off of the preamp output the actual bells playing, so that I've got an MP3 file, a music file of the actual Carillon music playing off of this. So I've got not only a digital copy of the physical punches, but I've got a digital copy of the actual music as it comes out of the tower. So that way I can use this music on a digital-based Carillon, which is what I'm going to hopefully set up for the church that I got this from. So that way, as far as everyone on the outside knows, they're still running this Deegan Carillon, when in reality it's a digital copy of the music playing, a digital recording. And so yeah, it'll sound exactly the same, but they won't have any of the maintenance and upkeep and the space that this thing occupies. So we will see. So yeah, I will I don't know when I'll get around to working on this, but I just picked it up today, so I thought, why not make a video on it? So I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I will update soon. Oh, and then I've got all kinds of tubes and stuff in here. So, pack date, 1978. Electronic tube. Cool. There's some other stuff in there, but we'll go through that at a later time. But, yeah. So let me know what you think, and if anyone else has one of these Deagan Celesta-Chimes, please please let me know, and hopefully you've got some paperwork or information on this that you can share with me that can help get this one going. And then what I thought was kind of interesting about this one is that most of the time these electronic Deegan players, the roll players, are in a roll-top desk, and this one's in like a nice little cabinet. And you can see down there, it says Deegan. So, we'll see. But thanks for watching and coming along on this journey of the Deegan electronic Carillon.